In this video, I'm going to talk about what it feels like to make your first 10K a month and what it feels like to make your first 80K in 1 month. The different business models that I've tried from the very start to the one that I found that works the most. So I used to sell iPhone charger cases. I ordered a bunch on Alibaba, just was like negotiating with Chinese sellers, bought like 100 or 200, and then I can't remember how much I was buying them for, a couple of dollars, and then I was selling them for like $15 or $20. Like I made some money, but I didn't really try anything but eBay. It was just like eBay and Gumtree and kind of like manually posting them and selling them, nothing scalable. And so that was kind of like my first attempt at an actual business. And that was while I was delivering jumping castles for my dad's jumping castle business. After that, I had an idea to sell t-shirts with emojis on them. So imagine like a white t-shirt and it has like an emoji of Morgan Freeman, for example, or Ed Sheeran or anything crazy that I could kind of capitalize on the brands of, you know, celebrities and stuff or virality to make shirts. So I registered a domain name called emojishirty.com, sexual emojis, all this random stuff. So I was kind of like domain parking with the idea to like release a bunch of like funny t-shirts. And then I did test Facebook ads campaign and I ran a few $100s of ads. I didn't get no one clicked the ad or no one tried. I think people went on the website, but no one actually went to add them to the cart to buy them. So I chucked that in the bin. While I was working for my dad, he was using this repair tape called Tear Aid. It's basically like a really stretchy plastic thing, like patch, but you buy them in a roll. And he was paying like $120 per 30-meter roll, and he would use those to repair the jumping castles from an American company, and that tape was made in America. Then he found this tape on Alibaba that was trying to compete with that, and he was buying that, and it worked the same, if not better. And then we were like, well, why don't we try and sell this ourselves and compete with Tear Aid? So Dad came up with the name Fix My Tear. It's a pretty funny name, but like I think it works. So we just literally just it's called white labeling. So we just put fixmytear.com on the tape, and then I compiled a list of, actually I got an Indian virtual assistant to compile a list of every single jumping castle company in the world, to email them and say, hey, we are just as good as Tear Aid or like the new repair tape, like emailed a bunch of those companies. And then we were making like, because I was an entrepreneur, so I didn't really have like a stake in it. So Dad kept the profits sort of thing. We were making like a couple of $1,000 every time we sent the batch of emails out. So that was the first feeling of like, oh my God, like we made like $7,000 this month. That's like 11,000 Australian or whatever. Then I kind of took it as far as I could with that. And we went to exhibitions in Australia and America. We hired an Australian guy that lived in America to kind of represent us. He didn't really perform that well, but that was subsidized by some sort of government program. We got to like some consistent sales of about $6K a month, but then we started to kind of run out of customers from those lists because they already bought all the stuff that they need. We had packages on the website of like, buy 10 rolls, post them out. And so I was just going to the post office all the time, posting these rolls in one box things, or like 10 rolls in a box, and that was like $500 or $700, something crazy. It's like a week's pay that I was earning per order. I mean, Dad was earning it. So that was cool. I was running that while I moved to Sweden as well. So I eventually moved to Sweden because I wanted to move back after studying there, and I had a Swedish girlfriend in Australia that was moving back home to Stockholm. So I moved back to Sweden. But before I went, I had an idea to sell bamboo pillows. You know, they're memory foam in the middle, and then the pillowcase is made of bamboo fiber, but the brand is, or what everyone knows as bamboo pillows. The consumers don't really understand if it's inside or whatever. They just think, oh, these benefits, natural and so on. My dad's friend was making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year selling these bamboo pillows over just basic tables with a tablecloth at shopping centers. So you pay $500 to rent that space for the day, and then you sell like a couple of grand's worth. And he had them all around Sydney and I think Australia as well. So I was talking to my dad's friend about like, let's partner up together, you teach me what to do and so on. But then he just started being a dick and saying like, I wasn't sure if he wanted 50-50 or if he wanted 70%, because he was like, oh, you know, you could use my brand. But his brand, it's just a shitty brand. Like no one knows it for the brand. He was just riding the wave of bamboo pillow popularity, because there was 1 or 2 companies that were doing all this marketing on, you know, the free TV shopping shows or whatever and everywhere. So they would think that his brand was that brand. So he didn't really have a brand. All he had was the contact to the pillow company in China. Anyway, I ordered some pillows from sellers on Alibaba.com and I found that contact so I could cut him out of the deal. So that was my plan, because he was just being a dick to me. So I was like, I don't want to work with him. Then when I was doing my market research for Sweden, I realized that wasn't really a thing in Swedish shopping centers, and you can't really sell stuff over tables like that. And if there are, there's not that many and it's super expensive or whatever. So I gave up on the idea of the bamboo pillows. I was still trying to do the fix my tear thing, and I was working for my dad per hour, just kind of helping him list products on the website, doing SEO, stuff like that, just whatever computer work I could. So I had a bit of a safety net when I moved to Sweden, but it was really boring work, like just having to do website stuff for dad's website, for Jumping Castles, uploading images, writing descriptions and stuff. And then I rented a 2-bedroom place for about $1,050 a week. One room was like really small and one was like 3 times the size with a double bed. So I stayed in the one with a single bed, and I rented the other room out on Airbnb, and I was making around $1,000 a week, if not more, but it was about an average of $1,000. So it was paying my whole rent to live there, but I had to live with like different people every week. I ended up getting caught by the owners, and they're like, hey, like, we didn't say you could do that or whatever. I was like, well, I said that I was gonna have different people stay, so I thought it would be fine, especially if I'm staying there. So can you just let me, you know, I'm looking after the place, can you just let me do that? And they're like, okay, fine, yeah. And then a few weeks later, I met with them again, and I convinced them to let me put the whole place on Airbnb. I'll rent somewhere else and move out, and I'll continue paying them the $1,000 a week or whatever, the rent. If we make $2,000 per week on Airbnb, I'll take 25% off the top and they will keep 75%. Or I'll take 25% plus the cleaning fee, something like this. And they agreed. And it used to be on Airbnb as well for $300 per night, or $290 or 200 euros a night, something like this. It was about $300. So when I put it up on Airbnb, I was instantly getting double that, because the owner just had $300 a night for every night of the month. No dynamic pricing, anything like this. And I was learning all these pricing strategies and doubled the income. So I was getting around $550, $600 a night for most of the month. Now, I don't have a calculator handy, but I think that it's $9,000 a month she was earning. So it was close to 20K a month, and then I was keeping 25%. I think it sometimes hit 25K Australian dollars in 1 month. So I was keeping 25%. So that was my first one, and I think that's like 5K a month. It's at least 5K a month that I was getting. And then I had a proof of concept that I could pitch to other owners and either sign them up on a guarantee deal where I'll be like, hey, you're trying to rent this place for $500 a week, I'll give you $600. I'm going to keep the rest, I'm going to put it on Airbnb. Or you're trying to rent it for $500, I reckon I can get $1,000. I'll take 20. Actually, at the start I was taking 35% from the top. So I'll be like, I'll take 35% and then you'll make $650 instead of $500. So then I scaled up over the next 24 months. I signed up 27 different properties on different types of deals, rental arbitrage, management deals, guarantee deals, and hybrids of all of them. So after the second property, because it was still shoulder season, I was making 10,000 Australian dollars a month. And that was almost 3 times what I was earning in my previous job back in Australia. So yeah, I think it was $3,057 after tax and HEX that I was getting. And I was earning, triple that from 2 Airbnbs. And then I just kept scaling up. Once you start scaling, it was like I would be on a date or out with friends at midnight or whatever. And then there's issues that I would have to solve. So I had to get a virtual assistant, which kind of eats into your margins, but it frees up your time. It was weird because I could just I didn't have to worry about drinks being $15 for a beer or $25 for a cocktail, because I didn't have to work 1 hour to earn that anymore. The other thing that is weird is the money that comes into your bank account. It's not just $357 every month for you showing up. It's like there's money going out and there's money going in. and then you have to work it out to find out how much you earned, and then you work it out like every couple of months. You're like, holy shit, I just made like $12,000 on average for the last 3 months. Like, that's crazy. And then I scaled up really aggressively. I kind of lost track of everything. I wasn't managing any expenses. And I had a holiday coming up where I was going to Ibiza, Tomorrowland, everything. Going to be partying and doing fun stuff for like 6 weeks straight. And this business needed my attention like for multiple hours a day to make sure the VAs are doing the right thing. So I hired a VA to manage the VAs. And then she convinced me that I needed to hire way more VAs. So I let her hire like 8 VAs. I was like, just solve it, just do whatever. So she hired like 8 virtual assistants. She had an agreement with these ones that she would take 35% of their paycheck, even though I had an agreement with her that she would not do that because I knew that this was like a thing. So I'm in Greece on holidays, and then I discovered this. I can't remember how I discovered it, but yeah. So you can imagine it's like $1,000 per month per VA. So it's like 15K a month. She was getting like 4K a month, and I just lost track of this. I was so stupid. So I was spending $20,000 a month on VAs. Everything was running. We just had a bunch of humans just sitting at that computer, not doing much, but stuff was it was a mess, but it was someone was always there to try and work on it. And yeah, so then it was end of peak season. It was August or September, and I'm in Croatia. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't make any money this summer. I was meant to make like over $100,000. And that's when I really learned a lesson, because I was making way more with like a couple of properties. I just got caught in the whirlwind and I didn't make any money. So that was a low point. And I hadn't filed my tax for a couple of years either, because I had money coming into PayPal, Payoneer, Australian bank account, Swedish bank account, and it was just impossible to track. It was going to take me like 2 months to calculate it all, and I didn't have an accounting system set up, or it wasn't just using one bank account where you can easily do it manually. So yeah, I was in over my head with expenses and everything. So I just had to like fire all but 2 or 3 VAs and start from scratch. And then I built it up properly, and then I was earning an average of 15K a month, or 10 to 15K after all the expenses in that last year before I left Sweden. So I got there in 2016. 2017, I had about 8 properties. 2018, I had 27 by the end of the summer. And then 6 months later, I moved back to Australia and started with rental arbitrage only, where I furnished the whole place. I'd never furnished places in Sweden, just a couple of blankets and basic stuff. And that allowed me to hold properties for a long time, because I can sign up for 2 years and there's nothing they can do about it once I've got that lease, unless I break the terms of the lease. Whereas with management deals, the owner might just be traveling for 3 months. That's how I got to like 27, like 30% of them would be just for the summer only. And then because I was getting quality places, quality furnishings and furniture, each one was like, a good 4 to 5K a month. And I still had the best ones from over in Sweden as well. So I was getting money throughout the year. So it was about 15 to 20K a month. With the Swedish places, I think I had about 8 to 12 or something over there. And then I was still building it over in Australia. So I had the money coming in each season. So it was a good consistent 15 to 20K a month. And then I knew that even during COVID, there was going to be a massive boom on the other side, and it was going to last multiple years. So I just need to knuckle down and just get these places. I was still making enough money through COVID to live. I got grants from the government because the revenue went down by a certain percentage, so then they'd just give you free money. So I was making enough to live and to make a profit and buy more furniture and stuff like that. So I wasn't completely wiped out. I lost a lot of management deals through COVID, but I kept every single one of my rental arbitrage ones, except for one, which was this big house in Bondi Beach that I was gonna get rid of regardless of COVID, because I only broke even. So yeah, and then I started just making a ton of money like in 2021, because I had over, I can't remember the exact numbers, but 15 to 20 places, and was probably making around 30,000 Australian a month. Australian dollars, and it's the same feeling again. It's like you don't get a consistent 30,000 payment into your account. You need to figure it out, so it kind of doesn't hit as hard as like I'm making 30,000. Like it's not like a paycheck sort of thing. But yeah, and then you just kind of start to think of stuff in your head. I'm like, it's $1,000 every day. I don't need to work every day. You realize how much you're making per hour, and it's kind of just like doing deals like, all right, I'll get that place, that's going to make me an extra 20K a year. It's like changes the whole way of thinking. You can easily go and pay for a nice dinner, or you don't have to worry about how much flights are. You choose the flights where it's direct and the most convenient or whatever. Yeah, it's just like it's normal stuff. But yeah, usually I always wondered what it's going to be like to like earn more. But it's literally just the same things that you currently do, but you just do a better version of them. So like I I bought a bunch of like software for my music. I bought like a keyboard, some good speakers, a nice music desk. I upgraded my apartment to be a two bedroom from a studio. So now I got a water view as well. Yeah, and you don't look at the world as like, that's too much work to, I have to save up and do 6 months of effort to save up for a Europe trip. You just kind of do a couple of deals to make money for a Europe trip. So yeah, it's kind of a different paradigm that you think. And then in December 2022, it was like the first peak season month after the borders opened after COVID, and I had about 22 places, and I made 90K or 92K or so in 1 month. So I usually say the number 82K, like previously on my Instagram or whatever. But I left out a 10K booking. There was like a famous celebrity in a popular band booked one of my places, and there was a bit of road construction. But we had something in our house rules. It's like we can't move you around or let you cancel if there's some construction that's out of our control or whatever. There was just like a few hours a day of like construction noise. It wasn't a big deal. But he was like, I'm just gonna have to cancel then. Like they tried to get a refund, but we didn't let them because they canceled last minute. And then we got to rebook it because it was available. So we got the cancellation and the booking. That's the good thing with Airbnb. Sometimes if someone just decides to cancel at their own volition, you can rebook that place and keep like double the money. I guess it's not ethical, obviously, but if you have the opportunity to do that, then I think you should take it. So yeah, that's how I made that much in 1 month. And yeah, it's just like you're sending invoice payments to cleaners of like 8K every 2 weeks or whatever. Like the amount of money coming in to get 80K clear net profit in 1 month, I guess it's 200K revenue in that month. So you're sending out all this money in invoices. There's so much stuff happening. You're getting payments from Airbnb, like 17K payouts or whatever. Bank accounts just going up and up. And then 5 days after New Year's Eve, once all those New Year's Eve bookings come in, it's like another 50K or another 30K higher in your bank account. And then you also have the next month as well, like January, which is like 60K a month or 70K. And then at the end of the summer, yeah, you have a few 100,000 more in your bank account than you did before the summer. So yeah, that's how it feels. It feels good, but it doesn't feel like as good as you thought it would be. Like when I was younger, I used to be like, oh fuck yeah, I want to make so much money. It's going to be so sick, and I'm going to do all this really cool stuff. Like it's going to be so epic. But it's just like sick. Like I made that much money, and that's it. And then you want more. I guess that's what everyone says about money. You always want more. One thing is to like not let lifestyle creep too much, because otherwise it's like you just get used to having that much money and blowing it all, and then you just have all this pressure to keep on making that money. So I'm buying investments in case the music stops at some point. Yeah, so I can kind of have that safety net. If you've not heard of me before, I like a education program called B&B Uni, formerly Profit with B&B, where we teach people how to make money with Airbnb. Whether you don't have any money to start, I had 12K to start when I rented that place. But other deals, I got started with management deals where you don't have to front any money. Or if you've got money to get started, even better, then you can get straight into rental arbitrage, renting places to sublet from the owner. Yeah, and we teach all that. We teach it in Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. It's pretty similar worldwide. You can learn from many schools on this. The main thing that I teach as well is how to build a lifestyle business where you don't have to run the whole thing yourself, like how to outsource everything so that you just need to work 1 or 2 hours a day controlling pricing and maybe sending some voice messages on WhatsApp and Slack to say, hey, you didn't do this thing, or here's how you do it, or just cracking the whip. So yeah, if you want help, click the link below. We can have a call and see if this is a good fit, or if not, at least just give you some tips on how you can do this yourself if you want to do that. Thanks for listening.